Welcome to USA Storm Center, your trusted source for breaking weather news and severe weather coverage across the United States. A record-shattering weather pattern is now unfolding, and virtually every American is going to feel it. After a prolonged stretch of significant severe weather, a massive heat dome is building across much of the country. This is not your typical spring warm-up. We could see more than 300 temperature records broken across the United States in just a matter of days, something that almost never happens in the month of March. And this is not only about the heat. This dramatic pattern shift is also setting the stage for a rapid return to active severe weather once the heat dome begins to break down next week. The weather is taking a truly historic turn, and at USA Storm Center, we are tracking every move. Let's start with the big picture. The key driver behind everything we are seeing right now is the jet stream. It is taking a significant turn, and what we are witnessing can only be described as March madness when it comes to weather. Just days ago, the country was dealing with significant severe weather outbreaks. Now the jet stream pattern has shifted dramatically. A very intense ridge has built across the desert southwest, while the jet stream pushes down from the northwest across the Midwest and into the northeast. For those along the immediate east coast, some cooler air will stick around for the next couple of days. But for the rest of the country, record-breaking warmth is already growing across the Great Plains and along the west coast. What is shaping up could be one of the most intense heat waves ever recorded during the month of March. Over 300 daily temperature records could fall in just 3 to 4 days. That number is extraordinary by any standard, and it is a sign of just how powerful and unusual this heat dome truly is. Temperatures across California could approach 110 degrees Fahrenheit in some locations, potentially breaking all-time March records that have stood for decades. Parts of Arizona and the broader Southwest are expected to see afternoon highs soar deep into the mid-100s, including areas near Phoenix. This is not summertime heat creeping in early. This is an extreme and historic event. Across Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri expect highs climbing into the 80s and 90s. Morning lows across the Great Plains will be sitting in the 50s and 60s, and some parts of California and Arizona may even see overnight lows in the 80s. That almost never happens in March under any circumstances. As we head into Saturday, the heat dome expands even further. Northern states that rarely see warmth like this in March, including North Dakota and Minnesota, could see temperatures reaching into the 80s. By Saturday, vast portions of the country will be experiencing temperatures that feel more like late May or early June, rather than the third month of the year. Some locations could exceed their previous daily records by 10 to 15 degrees. That margin alone tells you everything you need to know about just how far outside the norm this event truly is. Moving into Saturday and Sunday, the jet stream will begin to weaken slightly. A small storm system may develop during this window, and that could bring a limited but real risk of severe weather to parts of the Ohio Valley and the Northeast. Isolated wind damage, hail, and a low tornado risk are all possible. It will not be a major outbreak, but residents in those areas should stay alert and have a way to receive weather alerts. By Sunday and Monday, a strong cold front will sweep through the Midwest and Northeast. Behind that front, temperatures will drop sharply, by as much as 20 to 40 degrees in some areas. After the record-breaking warmth, the contrast will be remarkable, and will be felt very quickly. Through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the jet stream becomes more zonal, which generally limits the development of major storm systems. However, that does not mean the weather goes completely quiet. A developing storm over Canada could carry the potential for severe weather across parts of the Midwest and Ohio Valley if it shifts far enough south. At a minimum, some snow is expected to return to portions of the Midwest and Northeast during this stretch. The desert Southwest will remain very warm, even as the rest of the country cools. Another surge of extreme heat is possible across Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas by midweek. When you combine that heat with dry air conditions and strong winds, the result is a significant fire weather risk. Residents and land managers in those areas need to take this threat seriously and monitor local fire weather watches and warnings closely. Meanwhile, the Pacific Northwest is tracking a different story entirely. Heavy rain and mountain snow are expected across that region by early next week, offering a strong contrast to the heat wave gripping the southern and central portions of the country. Late Sunday brings a very small window for isolated severe weather across parts of Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. Atmospheric instability appears limited during this time frame, so a widespread outbreak is not expected. Still, any storm that does develop could produce gusty winds or small hail, so keep that in mind if you are in those areas. Around Tuesday, a disturbance moving across the Midwest looks relatively minor at this stage. However, the system moving through Canada later in the week carries more potential. Depending on its track, it could bring another chance for severe weather or significant snow across parts of the Midwest and Northeast by mid to late next week. USA Storm Center will be watching that system closely as it develops. In terms of precipitation, the overall pattern through the next several days remains fairly quiet across most of the country. Some snow and light showers are expected in parts of Ohio and Pennsylvania, but widespread rainfall is not expected during the heat wave itself. That dry stretch, combined with the record heat, only adds to the fire risk across the southern plains and southwest. Looking further ahead, the probability of a significant severe weather event in the near term remains low, but that changes as we head toward the end of March and into early April. Conditions are expected to become much more active with multiple potential severe weather outbreaks developing as early as April 2nd through April 5th. The pattern is signaling a very busy start to what could already be an active spring storm season. At USA Storm Center, we will be covering every one of those systems as they develop. If you live anywhere across the Great Plains, the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, or the Southeast, now is the time to make sure your severe weather plan is in place. Know where you will shelter, make sure your phone alerts are turned on, have a battery-powered weather radio ready if possible. This March heat wave will go down in the record books. More than 300 daily records, temperatures approaching 110 degrees in some spots, overnight lows in the 80s, and a cold front that will slam into the warmth by early next week. This is a weather story unlike anything we typically see at this time of year. Stay with USA Storm Center for continuous updates. We will be tracking the heat, the cold front, the fire weather risk, any developing storm systems, and everything that follows into April. Bookmark us, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a critical update when severe weather threatens your area. This is USA Storm Center, keeping you informed, keeping you